Ever since the beginning of the internet, its main purpose has been to put text, words, in front of people. Whether you're conveying information, selling something, or spreading an insane conspiracy theory, text, which I'll call the copy, does most of the work. In this video, I'll show you how to write effective copy for your website. Why does the writing matter? It's simple. Whatever you want your website to do, it's the copy that will or won't do it. For a business website, copy makes or breaks the sale. It's the most important part of your site. No matter how many fancy animations you might have, it's the words that matter in the end. Half of all page views last under 15 seconds. There is one reason for this. The copy failed to grab the reader's attention. For a business, good copy sells. Bad copy doesn't sell. It's that simple. Why web writing is different. Web writing has only been around for about 25 years compared to hundreds of years for books. This makes it a unique skill. Not every writer can do it well. Good web writing for a business involves some knowledge of marketing and persuasion, but don't panic. It's not rocket science. I'll cover the basics in this video. Before you start writing, know your market. Before you begin, you need to answer an important question. Who is your typical customer or client? Here's a tip. Your target market is not everybody. When I say typical customer, think in terms of the kind of person who might need your services. Write down a quick profile of this person using questions like these. Are they male or female, and does that make a difference in your service? What is their age range and income level? What is going on in their life that is causing them to need your services? What are the most important factors in how this person chooses you over your competitors? What complaints do people often have about your industry? The answers to these questions should clarify the problems people have and the solution they are looking for. This will help you tailor your copy to speak directly to the needs of your target market. Write an outline. Now that you've identified your typical customer or client, don't just start writing. The next step is to write an outline for the site. Use bullet points and short phrases. This will ensure that you don't forget anything important and allow you to get a good overview of what you want to say. The most wanted action. Writing the copy for a business website has a single goal, regardless of the business: to get people to do something. This is called the most wanted action. While you might like it if people read your blog, what you really want them to do is buy your products or hire you. That's why it's the most wanted action. You might have a secondary action, such as signing up for your mailing list, but the most wanted action is what pays the bills. If you sell products, your most wanted action is for people to buy them. If you have a service business, your most wanted action is for people to contact you. Everything on your site, the text, images, and videos, should be pushing people toward the most wanted action. So how does this work in practice? By structuring your copy in a logical way that leads people to the final step. The fancy term for this is a call to action. Don't assume people will be able to figure out what you want them to do. You have to lead them by the hand and make it completely obvious what they should do next. If you want people to contact you, show them how. Problem and solution. There is a single principle that should guide your copywriting: problem and solution. People have problems. These can range from needing someone to mow their lawn, get their car repaired, or keep them out of jail. People will come to your website for one reason: to see if you can solve their problem. If you can, they will pay you. That's really all there is to it. Think of your business in terms of problems and solutions. Identify the problems people might have that you could help them solve. Make a list and write down everything you can think of. Don't limit yourself to the obvious things. For example, here are some reasons people might need a landscaper. The obvious ones: general lawn service, cutting grass, picking up leaves, shoveling snow. Designing and building a custom landscaped area. And here are some not so obvious ones: tree trimming and removal, drainage problems, dealing with plant allergies. These needs are called pain points. They're what cause people to seek you out. Your job is to eliminate their pain by solving the problem. Listing every possible pain point will help you identify the different services you can offer. Your services should be solutions to specific problems. You're not a mechanic or attorney. You're a problem solver. The basics. There are several parts to a website's copy: headlines, body copy, usually short paragraphs, and calls to action. Together, these elements will convince customers that you have the solution to their problem and give you money to solve it. Here's a breakdown. Headlines. Headlines, also called headings on a website, serve the same purpose as headlines in a newspaper and are absolutely critical to a successful site. They get people's attention, summarize a topic, and indicate its importance. Here's why they are so important. Headlines are the first thing people will see, so they need to grab people's attention to keep them reading. If the headlines don't grab their attention, they're gone. People are always one click away from leaving your site. They give people an overall understanding of what your business is about. Many people will only read the headlines on your site. Because of that, readers should be able to tell what you do just by reading the headlines. They allow readers to quickly scan the page to find what they're looking for. This is important because studies show that most people don't read the text on a website the way they would read a book from start to finish. Instead, people scan a website to find what they are looking for and skip the rest. Your site will have several headlines with different levels of importance. The main headline in the top section of the page is the most important piece of text on your entire site because it conveys the primary marketing message. People will decide if you have the solution to their problem largely by the main headline. Each section of the site will also have its own headline. This lets the reader quickly know what that section is about. Finally, if you have descriptions of your services, each of these will have a short headline. Put together, the headlines form an outline of what your business is about. Headline tips. The best headlines directly address the customer's problem, your solution, or both. The headline should summarize the text that follows it. Headlines should get the reader's attention so they want to keep reading. Be specific, not vague. If you are saying something that could apply to any business, get rid of it. Don't say, "We provide first-class solutions." Say what the solutions are. Here are a few examples of vague headlines. Welcome to our website. Expand your business. It's never too late to become the person you were meant to be. None of those say anything about the business. Don't write long headings. 1 or 2 short sentences. One is much better. A heading should not be an entire paragraph. Shoot for 8 to 12 words. Don't try to cram everything about your business into a single heading. Some of your headings will just be a few words, or maybe even a single word in some cases. Ignore the rules you learned in your high school English class about writing proper sentences. Headlines should stress the benefits to the customer. Most business owners tend to think in terms of the features that their business or product offers. Reword this to emphasize how a feature benefits the customer. Beware of online articles about writing good headlines, such as 10 things you didn't know about Basset Hounds. These only apply to blog posts. The 2 biggest mistakes people make when writing headlines are being too weak and vague and making them too long. Don't do those things. Body copy. Body copy is the majority of the words on your site. It's what comes after the headlines. The purpose of the headlines is to get people's attention so they'll read the body copy. The body copy is where you will make your main pitch for your business. This can include lists of features and benefits, descriptions of your services, rave reviews of your work, and other information to convince people to take action. People sometimes worry that they have to write a lot of copy for a website, or they think every word they write is golden and end up with really long pages. Relax. You're not writing a bestseller or doctoral dissertation. People are lazy and in a hurry, and aren't going to slog through a lot of copy. You can't force people to read your copy, no matter how great you think it is. More is not better. Many people don't like to read at all or have trouble doing it. Keep that in mind. Most Americans read at an 8th grade level. Speaking of that, have you ever been forced to sit through a presentation or meeting where the speaker wandered all over the place, wasting your time? When writing your site's body copy, Don't pad the writing with a lot of fluff. Get to the point. Assume you only have a few minutes to make your pitch, because that's the truth. Here are a few more tips. Keep the sentences fairly short, about 8 to 10 words. Don't use complex grammar or create long sentences with a lot of commas. Don't connect what should be several sentences into a single one with but, however, therefore, or also. Read each sentence out loud. If you have to stop to take a breath, it's too long. Don't use words you wouldn't use in a normal conversation. When was the last time you actually said however or therefore? Paragraphs should be 2 to 4 sentences each. It's okay to use single sentences too. This can be a good way to emphasize a point, but don't overdo it. Marketing people do that a lot and it drives me crazy. Using a lot of single sentences is tiring to read. Paragraphs exist for a reason. Think like PowerPoint. Short, concise statements are the best way to make your point. Most people only read 20% of a site's content. Don't use cliches or unnecessary words. For example, don't say at this point in time, say now. Write the way you would speak to someone in person. Calls to action. The headings and body copy make up about 95% of the words on your website, but that remaining 5% is really important. These are calls to action, or CTAs, short statements that tell people exactly what to do next. I'll talk more about these in a few minutes. Organizing your text. The idea of writing the copy for your site might seem scary. What do I need? Where do I begin? The good news is that there's a pretty simple formula to follow. Here's how it works. Your website should be organized into sections from the top to the bottom of the page, like you see here. Each section has a specific purpose. This tells you what kind of copy you need for each section. I'll use this example for the rest of this video. Let's break this down. The Hero section. The first part of the site is called the Hero section. It's the first thing people will see. It includes 3 parts: an image, not essential but usually a good idea, the primary marketing message, and a call to action. If you only have one chance to make the sale, it's the primary marketing message. This is a combination of the main headline, a subheading, and a call to action. The combination of these 3 elements should be enough to make the sale, or at least get the reader's attention. The main headline is the most important piece of text on your entire website. It's the first thing people will see, and it needs to grab their attention quickly and tell them that your website is exactly what they're looking for, that you have the solution to their problem. That's a lot to ask of a sentence or two, but it's really not as hard as you might think. The main headline is a direct statement of how you will solve the customer's problem, and it can mention the service or the customer. It needs to be an attention grabber. Don't use weak, squishy language. Tell the customer why they need to contact you right now. There are 3 types of main headlines that work well. Say what the product or service is. State a pain point or benefit. Say what you can do with the product or service, how it will improve someone's life or solve their problem. Here are some good and bad examples. Bad. We offer dog training services. Good. Train your dog in 2 weeks. Why it's better. This stresses the benefits to the customer. Bad. Offering a full range of plumbing services. Good. Certified plumbers on time and on budget. Why it's better. It addresses the 2 main concerns people have about plumbers, time and cost. Bad. Get an associate's degree in nursing. Good. Stuck in a dead-end job? Get trained for a new career in nursing in only 18 months. Why it's better. It directly addresses both the problem and the solution. People don't get a degree just to have it. They get it to change their career and they want to get it quickly. One of the best main headlines I've ever seen was for a piece of software called Evernote, which lets you store all kinds of information in one place, the things most people lose track of. Here's the headline. Remember everything. With just 2 words, they managed to address both the problem and solution. Now don't try to come up with a great 2-worder. I mentioned this example to show that headlines that get directly to the point of either the problem or solution are the most effective. Speaking of length, I frequently see main headlines that are way too long. This happens when someone tries to cram in everything the business does, plus how it benefits the customer, plus over-the-top sales language, usually ending with multiple exclamation points. Sometimes people think this creates excitement, but it really just makes your business look shady and unprofessional. If you were telling someone about your business, you probably wouldn't shout at them and jump up and down. Don't do that with your main headline. The subhead. The subhead is a chance to expand on the main headline. It can be 1 or 2 sentences, and its purpose is to give additional information to the customer about your product or service. It provides more detail about what you do or who you do it for and why it's useful. The main headline and subhead should work together. Here are some examples of how this works. The last part of the primary marketing message is the call to action. This is a direct instruction by you to the customer that tells them what to do next, and is usually a button that leads to a contact form, quote request, or some other contact method. If you want people to call you, just say something like, "Call us today," followed by the phone number. Never assume people will be able to figure out what to do next. You have to tell them directly and lead them to it. Here are a few good CTA messages. The positioning section. This section does 2 things. It tells people why they should buy from you instead of your competitors, and it summarizes the key features and benefits you offer. The main headline got the attention of your customer, and now you have to provide a little more detail to answer any questions they may have, and also to position your business in relation to your competitors. Try to focus on answering the question, "What will this do for me?" as this will help you to write copy that speaks directly to your customers' questions. This section includes several elements: a headline, a subhead or short paragraph, and 3 to 6 short blurbs. The headline should address the "Why me?" question. Here are a few examples. 4 reasons to choose Widget Masters. What makes Widget Masters different? The subhead or short paragraph is an opportunity to expand on the headline with additional information, just like the previous subhead. The blurbs are summaries of your key services, 1 or 2 sentences. Think of these as advantages over your competition. Focus on what you do better than everyone else and how it benefits the customer. To help with this section, think the way a potential customer would, both what they want and what they don't want. Here's an example. Your business is a home cleaning service. What do I want from this kind of service? I want the people to show up on schedule. I want them to do a good job. I want the price to be reasonable. And what do I not want from them? I don't want them to steal my stuff. A big concern, especially among older people, a key market for this type of service. As you think about this, make a list of these things. It will help you write the copy. Address these concerns directly. Here's a few more tips. Get to the point. Bullet points are great here. 3 to 6 is a good number. Write in direct, to-the-point language. Don't be shy. Tell people straight up why you're better than your competition. Don't say something bland like, "We provide a full range of plumbing services." Instead, say something like, "We know your time is valuable, so if we're late, you get a discount." Think the way your customers think. Even if you think something isn't important, if your customers think it's important, you need to address it. Sell benefits, not features. When thinking of the different features or services that you offer, Focus on how they directly benefit the customer or which pain point a service you offer solves for the customer. No one ever bought a drill because they needed a drill. They bought a drill because they needed a hole. The hero and positioning sections are the most important parts of your website, but the rest matters too. Luckily, writing the copy for these is relatively easy. I'll go through those now. The first of these is the offer. This is a promotion you are offering the customer. Its purpose is to sweeten the deal and give the customer an incentive to take action now. Offers are really important. They're your best opportunity to get an immediate response from a potential customer. One offer that works well is a discount coupon that people can print out and use. Everybody likes to save money. Offering a 10 to 20% discount for first-time customers is something anyone would take advantage of. Testimonials and reviews. Testimonials and reviews are called social proof. Their goal is to demonstrate that your company is legitimate and that your product or service actually does what you say it does. This can go a long way toward easing people's hesitation about buying from you. It's easy to get testimonials from happy customers. Just ask for them. It's also a good practice to ask your customers for a brief testimonial statement right after you've completed their project. Here are some tips. 2 or 3 is a good number of testimonials on your site. If you can get more from your customers, pick the best ones. You don't have to use them all. For many types of businesses, online reviews are extremely valuable and getting more so every day. You've probably seen these reviews on Google, Yelp, and on other sites. The most effective way to utilize reviews is to display them directly on your website. Photo gallery. A photo gallery is good for visually oriented businesses such as caterers, wedding planners, landscapers, or anyone who makes something. If you make something, you need to show it off. Hire a professional photographer if you can, especially if you make food. FAQ. An FAQ is a good idea for most businesses. It lets you answer people's questions in advance. Team photos. These are good for businesses with personal service, such as massage therapists or spas. Long versus short copy. There's an ongoing dispute in the online marketing business about which is better, long or short copy. As you probably guessed, long copy means more text, short copy means less. There's only one correct answer to this question. It depends. I follow a simple rule. The right amount of copy depends on the risk and commitment you are asking for. Here's what I mean. If you're selling something that's expensive or involves a serious commitment, such as life insurance or investments, you need a lot of copy to fully explain everything. This isn't the kind of thing people buy on impulse. There can be serious consequences if they get it wrong. Long copy lets you answer questions and reassure the customer that they're making the right decision. If you sell something relatively inexpensive or provide a service that doesn't lock the customer in for a long time, short copy is better. Most people can live with the consequences of buying a $10 bottle of shampoo that doesn't work out. For the same reason, if you have an email opt-in form on your site where people can sign up for your mailing list, there is very little risk for the customer. If they don't want to get your emails anymore, they can easily unsubscribe. This means that your sign-up form should only ask for a first name and email, or even just the email address. Never ask for a phone number. It will lower your sign-up rate by 90%. People really don't like getting cold calls. If they want to talk to you, they'll call you. There's one thing to keep in mind here. Regardless of what you're selling, people are more likely to read short copy than long copy. This doesn't mean you shouldn't use long copy. Just be sure it's appropriate for your situation. Beware of storytelling. I've seen articles that say your copy should tell a story, such as the experience of a specific person and how they were helped by the business. While this might work for some types of businesses, and it's great for testimonials, for most businesses it's a bad idea. People aren't interested in someone else's story. They care about their own problem. Also, people assume most of these stories are fake. Don't make up stories or fake customers. Just don't. Here are some things to do. Write the way you would talk to someone, without the profanity, likes, and ums. Hire a copywriter if you can. Don't use your friend, the budding novelist or poet. With all due respect, beware of English majors. I had a client who was an English major, and she insisted on using words like thusly. Nobody talks like that. Effective web writing is a lot different from essay writing. The rules you learned in high school about creating a story with a beginning, middle, and end don't apply here. Use images. A site that's all text is deadly. Use some kind of site analytics. It's important to be able to see which pages of your site people are going to, and, more importantly, how long they stay there. This is critical feedback for the effectiveness of your copy. If you are selling products directly from your site, there's good and bad news. The good news is that the photos of the products do most of the work. You still need copy, but that's mostly descriptions of the products. The bad news is that since the only thing people have to go on are the photos, they need to be really good. Hire a professional photographer who does product shots. Here are some don'ts. Not editing enough. Too many people think that every word they use is necessary. It isn't. Hemingway once said, "The first draft of anything is..." You don't have to tell people every possible thing about everything. Be ruthless with yourself. Another problem is when people can't finish the editing because they're trying to make the copy perfect. Here's a secret. It's never going to be perfect. It only has to be good enough. Using fluff or jargon. I can always tell when a company's web copy was written by their marketing department. It's full of BS, language like, "We leverage world-class synergistic solutions." Who talks like that? Write like a normal human being. Self-centered copy. Although your website exists to promote your business, it's not about you or how great you are. It's about your customers and what you can do for them. People don't care about you or your company. They care about their problem and how you can solve it. Hyped up copy. Don't make big guarantees that you can't fulfill. If you tell people you can increase their profits by 200% and you actually increase them by 50%, a very good increase, they will feel like you failed to deliver on your promise. Don't use too much emphasis, like exclamation marks, all caps, and all bold. This kills your credibility and makes you look sleazy. It's fine to use these things sparingly, but no more than 10% of the text should be emphasized. I see headlines that are bold, all caps, several colors, and full of exclamation points. This doesn't look compelling or exciting. It looks like a late-night infomercial. If you have a good product or service, you don't have to shout at people. Loud messages won't get people clicking the order button. It will put them off. If you're a professional, act like one, not like a carnival barker. And never, ever do this. Hobbies and interests. Sorry to break it to you, but your life story, or the personal obstacles you've overcome, isn't relevant or nearly as interesting as you think. Neither are your hobbies, personal philosophy, or interests. It's not about you, remember? People have their own problems. They don't care about yours. Focusing on features, not benefits. If you're a photographer, nobody cares what kind of equipment you have. They care about the end product. When you talk about the great services you offer, do so in terms of how these things benefit the customer. If you have any special certifications, talk about how these benefit the customer as well. Spelling and grammar mistakes. I often see web copy that's full of misspelled words, poor punctuation, and sloppy grammar. Some clients think that doesn't matter as long as people can get the general idea of what they're saying, and besides, nobody's hiring them for their English skills. Wrong. Plenty of people will notice. Careless writing kills your professional credibility. It makes you look sloppy and lazy, and that you couldn't be bothered to have someone check it over. Why should anyone take you seriously if you don't? And what exactly is your excuse for not using spell check? Be consistent with the spelling of words like website. Your spell check should catch this. Overly formal writing. You're not writing a business letter. Don't structure your copy like one, like this. Don't use industry jargon unless you have a very specific audience. Don't use cliches or texting abbreviations. Don't use profanity. I've actually seen that. Don't try to be clever or funny. People won't get it. Don't be lazy. Don't plagiarize other people's copy. It's copyrighted and you will get sued. Don't use abbreviations that aren't common. If you want to say return on investment, spell it out the first time you use it. After that, you can abbreviate it ROI. Don't use superlatives like ultimate or best. Don't overuse adjectives. Here's a special plea to those coming from a corporate background. If you think you should include a mission statement, forget it. Mission statements are meaningless corporate claptrap, usually filled with buzzwords like leveraging synergistic solutions. Do you talk like that in your everyday life? I hope not. I've never seen a mission statement that added any value to the copy. Your only mission is to solve your customers' problems. Focus on that. The role of SEO, or search engine optimization. If you hire someone to do SEO on your site, never let the SEO person write the copy or have total control over it. Have you ever seen a site with a strange headline like Dry Cleaning Greensboro? This was written by an SEO person to please Google, not to convert shoppers into buyers. Here's a few tips. Keywords must be integrated into the copy in a natural way. The copywriter and SEO person need to work together to strike a balance. Never put SEO above conversion. People buy your products and services, not Google. SEO is an ongoing process, not a once-and-done thing. Good SEO costs serious money. Nobody can get you to the top of Google for $99. A lot of SEO people use old-school methods like keyword stuffing. Google will penalize you for that. Finally, here are some examples of the things I've been talking about. In this video, we've covered the basics of writing the copy for your website. If you'd like a longer version of this with more examples, just send me an email at this address and I'll send you the free PDF. Now it's time to get started. Here are some quotations to inspire you.
If you need a professional, marketing-focused website that really works for you, but don't think you can afford one, go right now to websiteinOneweek.com